Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The VA has an announcement as of yesterday, June 14th, and I wanted to share it with you here today, the 15th. VA extends presumptions of service connection for 3 new cancer types. Now, here's the thing with presumptives, and I kind of want to set the stage with this because oftentimes the angle for everybody who's doing videos on this stuff for your benefit is usually talking about, hey, what can we do to get service connection? How can I get service connected disability compensation? All of that stuff. Yes, that's great. However, when I see presumptive conditions, I think of this. If I served in one of these locations that has this list of presumptives, I am more than likely than others to come down with this type of a condition. And believe me, many of these things you don't wish on on anybody, right? So there's some horrible situations out there, and you need to share the list of presumptives that you would qualify for. I'm saying even if you don't have the condition, if you do not have the presumptive condition but you served in a location, let your primary doctor know, especially if they're outside of the VA. Let them know, hey, look, I have more likely kind of opportunity to contract or get one of these types of diseases or whatever, right, based on my service. That's what a presumptive is, right? A presumptive is the VA saying, hey, look, you served in this area, you're more likely than the general public to come down with X, Y, and Z. So just a little, I guess, tip. I'd rather people catch things way up front and get it dealt with than have some horrendous situations. So with that, I get it. That was kind of the weird part. Obviously, everybody wants to get service connected for different ailments that they come down with, but let's try to also swim upstream and, catch them early. All right, so again, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. My mic has been giving me problems, and so I'm just using a different mic. I don't know if it's any good. We'll find out. I need to find a mic that makes me sound like Sean Connery or something. That'd be cool. All right, so let's move on. VA extends presumptions of service connection for 3 new cancer types. Again, this just came out Friday, June 14th. Today, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is including 3 new cancer types in the list of presumed service-connected disabilities due to military environmental exposure under the PACT Act. This announcement marks the continued commitment under the Biden-Harris administration unity agenda and the Biden Cancer Moonshot to support the nation's veterans. So, here's what we're looking at. With the PACT Act, it allowed the VA to establish presumptives much easier than in the past. So that's why we keep seeing things pop up. And it's also important to let your provider on the VA side know what kind of situations you have, because the more of us that have certain things, the more likely a condition could be added on as a presumptive. Just throwing that part out there too. All right, so through a sub-regulatory policy letter published to the Federal Register, the following 3 cancer types have been included in the list of presumptive diseases: male breast cancer, urethral cancer, and cancer of the paraurethral glands. This policy establishes presumptions of service connection for eligible Gulf War and post 9/11 veterans who deployed to Afghanistan, Somalia, Djibouti, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, however you say it, the Uzbekistan one, and the entire Southwest Asia theater of operations, which includes Iraq. Presumption or presumptive service connection means VA automatically assumes service connection for the diseases and provides benefits to eligible veterans who have submitted claims with evidence of a diagnosis. So good point. For a regular claim, right, without presumption, you need, here's my proof of time in service, here's my diagnosed condition, here's proof, a nexus of my condition either manifesting during service or as a result of my service. With a presumptive, the VA takes away that need for that nexus. If you served in a specific location during a specific time frame and you have a designated presumptive condition diagnosed, those 2 things alone will get you approved. There's a quotation here. We are working with urgency to deliver on the promise of the PACT Act to provide health care and benefits to as many toxic exposed veterans as possible. We're leaning in wherever we can, said the VA secretary. VA is working with one goal in mind, getting today and tomorrow's veterans and their families the benefits they deserve as fast as possible. Any veteran who currently has or previously had one of the listed cancers at any time during military service or after separation may be entitled to disability compensation benefits dated back to August 10th, 2022, the date the PACT Act was signed into law. VA will review all claims from impacted veterans and survivors who previously filed and were denied for these three conditions on or after August 10th, 2022 to determine if benefits can now be granted. Veterans enrolled in VA healthcare can obtain cancer screenings and treatment at VA, which recently announced expansion of cancer care services closer to where veterans are. VA has granted over its 1 millionth PACT Act related disability compensation claim and awarded over $5.7 billion to veterans and survivors since the president signed the bill into law. Veterans and survivors can apply or learn more about the PACT Act by visiting va.gov/PACT, or you can call the VA at 800-MY-VA-411. There is no charge to file a claim with VA. For further assistance with the disability claims process, veterans are encouraged to work with a VA accredited representative or contact their state Veterans Affairs office. So, very important. And again, the power of presumptive conditions is huge. Now, this also applies, if you heard in there, to survivors. Surviving spouses typically would be the one. Also dependents and parents could also be eligible for dependency indemnity compensation. Now, what this means is if, let's say, for example, you had a veteran who had one of these three cancers, the male breast cancer, urethral cancer, cancer of the paraurethral glands, any of those, and let's say that it just got worse and then the veteran had passed away, just as an example, the surviving spouse now would be easier for them to get dependency indemnity compensation due to the presumptive nature of the condition if the veteran served in one of the presumptive locations for those. So, the power of presumptives is very good. The pay for dependency indemnity compensation, which is something many folks aren't aware of. And I'll also throw out to you, the veteran does not have to have had a claim with the VA. They didn't need to be rated with the VA. If you can prove that their condition was service-connected, either way, either a standard claim or through a presumptive, which is the easier route for a survivor to be able to gain that dependency indemnity compensation. The payout is in between $1,600 a month all the way up to over $3,000 per month, depending on various factors. How long you were married, the veteran's rating, your condition as the survivor, do you need care, aid and attendance, housebound, so forth. So there's a whole array of different kind of add-ons that can add to it. But the base is in the 1600s and it moves up from there. It's also affected by COLA, the cost of living adjustment will also impact that payment. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.